Hi, I'm Sean from dishonorablespeechandpolitics.com, and in this second of 3 videos on which children's stories may be good for your child's developing psychology and which ones may not, I'll provide my list of 29 books I don't believe contain dishonorable themes and 20 that contain some themes that I'd call questionable in terms of being ultimately good for your child's development. Again, I'm not here to get any books canceled, and I'm not a psychologist. I provide these lists to be helpful, but you, of course, make the ultimate call on what you think is good for your child. Now, for determining if a story overall has dishonor in it, that is, ultimately supports hate over love, I tried to consider the story as a whole. Some books had what seemed like dishonorable speech at some point in the story, but if I felt that they cleared it up later, I considered the book to not contain an overall dishonorable theme. An example might be a story in which someone gets made fun of or bullied, which I would consider to be dishonorable, but a positive message comes out in the end, such as you can be okay even when you're bullied. And people who bully others are still people and deserving of love. By the way, just because a book doesn't contain dishonor, in my opinion, doesn't mean it's something you'll consider a good story. It may not seem very engaging, and I'm sorry, but boring is not a category I have for dishonorable speech. Here's a list of books in which I didn't identify any themes that I thought were ultimately dishonorable. Note that I'm not promoting these books because of the quality of their positive themes. I'm just saying I don't see significant dishonorable themes in them. I put them in alphabetical order by title, which I was able to do quite nicely after reading Dr. Seuss's ABC. And I'll just call out a few of them for some minor possible issues that you may see. Number 1, A Bad Case of Stripes. One Amazon reviewer said the images may be scary for young kids. Number 4, Corduroy by Don Freeman. One Amazon reviewer did mention that on the inside cover of their edition, it had a description of the story that talked about Corduroy finding a home with a quote-unquote little black girl. Personally, I don't think it's a big deal that they mention the race or sex of the child or even implied her age with little, but if you do take issue with any of these things, you can either skip the front cover description or the book altogether. In my opinion, though, it is kind of a beautiful story. For number 18, Sylvester and the Magic Pebble. Some Amazon reviewers said this may be too scary for some kids, so you may want to consider your child's maturity level before reading it to them. Number 23, The Tale of Peter Rabbit. This story does mention that the father rabbit got put into a pie to be eaten, so you may want to consider the maturity of the child before reading this to them. And here are some books that I'd like to call out possible issues with. Number 1, Danny and the Dinosaur. It says, "Let's make believe we can't find him," Danny said. "Where can he be? Where, oh where is that dinosaur? Where did he go?" "We give up," said the children. "Here I am," said the dinosaur. "The dinosaur wins," said the children. "We couldn't find him. He fooled us. Hurrah for the dinosaur," the children cried. "Hooray, hooray!" One could say the children are performing a kindness by letting the dinosaur win, but this seems to me to promote that if you win, you'll feel good, even if you didn't win by honest effort. It also seems to promote that it's okay to shield people from reality if it might help them feel good in the moment, which I believe it could be, but it depends on the situation. I think integrity, learning, and putting in honest effort would be better themes to include. My suggested more honorable version is, "Let's help him learn how to hide better," Danny said. "Hey, dinosaur, you're so big, where do you think you could hide so he wouldn't be able to see you?" The dinosaur thought for a moment and then said, "Oh, I know," and he went off to hide. The children couldn't find him for a while until they looked behind this biggest building in town, and there he was. "That was a good hiding spot," the children said. "It took us a while to find you." In this new version, I'm trying to promote learning, putting in honest effort, and helping others. Number 2, Goodnight, Goodnight construction site. More than one Amazon reviewer noted that all of the construction vehicles are males, no females. If this bothers you, one option would be to simply change he's and hims to she's and hers for one or more of the trucks. Personally, I don't think gender stereotypes or generalizations are in and of themselves bad. It's when we take them to imply hateful things, such as that women can't be construction equipment operators, that I believe they can be damaging. This book could potentially raise some questions, though, for your child around these sorts of things, and that may be good to explore with them. Oh, and also one Amazon reviewer wrote, "My little one got so bored he held my mouth closed." Kids, what can you say? Especially when they're holding your mouth closed. Number 3, Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. Hold the phone. This story does seem to suggest that the Cat in the Hat character is getting annoyed at Sam I Am, which would support blaming others for your emotions. One could consider what Sam I Am does as nagging, so in that way disrespectful, but one could also look at it as skillful salesmanship that ended up helping the Cat in the Hat get a good experience, since the Cat in the Hat wasn't being honest about not liking green eggs and ham, since the cat hadn't tried them. I didn't realize there was so much cat, hat, cat in my description there either. Number 4, Here We Are, Notes for Living on Planet Earth. One Amazon reviewer mentioned that in the illustrations there was a burqa-clad woman, while another pointed out that there was a woman marrying another woman. Personally, I don't have an issue with women marrying women, but I do respect that some people have different beliefs from me, so I want them to be aware of this image in this book. Regarding the burqa-clad woman, this is a more difficult question for me at least, because some would say this is a symbol of oppression of women. I could make the same argument, though, about images of men or women wearing any clothes at all. Are any clothes a symbol of oppression because if people walked around naked in normal public settings in the US, they'd likely get harassed and probably arrested? Or is the burqa, in this case, meant to be a symbol of someone who has different beliefs than the average American, kind of like the people who have different beliefs about gay marriage? And should we be tolerant of those beliefs, or at the very least, tolerant of the people who have those beliefs? I believe we should be tolerant of people who have different beliefs, even if we don't feel those beliefs are good. If we didn't, we honestly wouldn't have any friends, because we're never going to agree with everything our friend believes. And I think hating on people for bad beliefs is probably one of the worst ways to inspire them to reconsider those beliefs. So for me, I think having an image of a burqa-clad woman may be a good starting point for a discussion about how it's good to accept all people as human beings first, and we can do that even if they seem different from us or we don't agree with their choices. Number 5, Hop on Pop by Dr. Seuss. Sad dad, bad had. Dad is sad. Very, very sad. He had a bad day. What a day Dad had. This does seem to support blaming your day for your emotions. Number 6, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Although the Grinch comes around in the end, he originally blames the Who's for his hatred. This story also mentions pop guns. Further, it seems to support the dehumanizing term liar when it called the Grinch the old liar, and to me this supports that you're bad if you do bad. Number 7, How to Catch a Unicorn. I don't believe kids trying to catch a unicorn with different traps and nets promotes kind behavior towards animals. Also, although magical creatures may inspire wonder in children, I believe real animals are quite amazing in and of themselves, and it may be better to inspire wonder in them. This story also has the word fart in it, for people who may object to that. And remember, these are stories that I'm on the fence about. I'm not saying that these necessarily have dishonorable speech in them. Number 8, I am a big sister. Mommy and Daddy say I'm clever, and that I'm the best big sister ever. The issue here, I believe, is rewarding a child with words like clever and best ever, which in my opinion subtly imply that the child has to be those things to feel good. My suggested more honorable version is, Mommy and Daddy say I'm building my care when I help with baby anywhere. This new version implies building your level of caring is good, which I believe it is, and that building care is a process. It's not that you're simply caring or you're not. Number 9, If you give a pig a pancake. The illustrations may give your kids some ideas about trying to balance furniture in precarious positions. Also, it does seem like the child giving the pig anything it wants may promote entitlement to get anything you want. Number 10, Love You Forever. He grew until he was 2 years old, and he ran all around the house. He pulled all the books off the shelves. He pulled all the food out of the refrigerator, and he took his mother's watch and flushed it down the toilet. Sometimes his mother would say, "This kid is driving me crazy." In my opinion, this does contain some blame that the child's actions can make a mom go crazy or annoyed, but I believe even after all the child's behavior, her saying she'll love him forever is a great message. Note, some Amazon reviewers thought the book was a little creepy or weird for having an old lady rocking a grown man, her son, to sleep. In my opinion, just because something seems weird doesn't automatically make it bad, though. Number 11, Millions of Cats. The very old woman thought for a while, and then she said, "I know. We will let the cats decide which one we should keep." "Oh, yes," said the very old man, and he called to the cats, "Which one of you is the prettiest?" This may promote that you need to be the prettiest to be valued, regardless of other qualities you may have. I don't think that's a good message to send to kids. Also, I'm not sure that cats eating each other is appropriate for children of age 5 or less. They could not see a single cat. "I think they must have eaten each other all up," said the very old woman. Yikes. Number 12, Olivia. One Amazon reviewer said this book basically says it's okay to be naughty, and they don't want to give their child ideas on how to misbehave. The story included Olivia scaring her little brother, trying on everything to get dressed in the morning, painting on walls, and asking for 5 books at bedtime. One reviewer didn't like that the mother allows bargaining for how many books to read. I do like the message of unconditional love, though, in Olivia's mother gives her a kiss and says, "You know, you really wear me out, but I love you anyway." Number 13, 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. And some fish are very, very bad. Why are they sad and glad and bad? And the illustration looks like a mean fish is threatening another. To me, this supports the good-bad model of people rather than distinguishing that actions are bad or destructive, not that a person intrinsically is somehow bad. "We like our Mike, and this is why. Mike does all the work when the hills get high." To me, this promotes liking someone because they do things for you rather than liking someone for who they are. The moon was out, and we saw some sheep. We saw some sheep take a walk in their sleep. By the light of the moon, by the light of a star, they walked all night from near to far. I would never walk. I would take a car. To me, this promotes putting in minimal effort and doesn't encourage enjoying the journey. My suggested more honorable versions are: some do things that are very bad. Why are they sad and glad and do bad? I do not know. Go ask your dad. We like to ride with Mike, and here's part of why. Mike pushes us up when the hills get high. Sometimes I walk. Sometimes take a car. These are pretty simple revisions that would subtly change the messages to be significantly more positive, in my opinion. Number 14, Tar Beach. I'm not sure this book is appropriate for most 5-year-old children since it mentions beer at a party and people calling others colored or half-breed Indian, and a mother crying when a father looks for work all winter and doesn't come home. Number 15, The Dot. I like some of what I think the message is here in terms of inspiring kids to try and not feel bad if they're not initially good at something. I like that the main character puts some effort into her art, which I think is good, but I would have liked to have seen her inspiration more coming from words of encouragement from the teacher about enjoying the learning process, putting in effort and seeing where it takes you, and developing the tenacity to push through until you get skilled at something. And this would not be to impress others, but to better understand yourself and how much effort it takes to get skilled at things. Number 16, The Tiger Who Came to Tea. This story may support people being too polite at being good hosts to tell someone they're abusing their stay as a guest. It also mentions Daddy's beer. Number 17, The Wonderful Things You Will Be. I know you'll be kind and clever and bold. This may support that the child believes they have to be these things to be okay in the eyes of their parent. Number 18, The World Needs More Purple People. But you're probably wondering, what does that have to do with people? Wow, are you a genius? I'm not sure that it's good to hold genius up as a standard children may feel they have to attain to not feel less than. Also, this story has the word boogie in it, as in booger, and snot, in case you object to those sorts of words. Number 19, Why a Daughter Needs a Mom. We'll try out new styles for our clothes and our hair, and find the most perfect you outfit to wear. Look your best, feel your best. Then go on out there and take on the world, my brave girl. I believe this story has a lot of good themes, such as believing in yourself, finding beauty and wonder in the world, and it's alright to be different. I'm not sure that encouraging picking out the perfect outfit so you can look your best as if it might be necessary to feel your best is a good message, though. Number 20, Zog. Then Princess Pearl stepped forward crying, "Stop, you silly chumps! The world's already far too full of cuts and burns and bumps. Don't rescue me! I won't go back to being a princess and prancing around the palace in a silly frilly dress. I want to be a doctor and travel here and there, listening to people's chests and giving them care." Silly chumps is name-calling, which I think is problematic. While I think it's generally a good thing to not promote kids wanting to be princesses and princes, I also think it's okay if children, and yes, even boys, want to wear frilly dresses. Calling them silly, as if frilly dresses were a bad thing, discourages this in my opinion. I think it also suggests that silly is bad for grown-ups, which I don't think it is as long as it's appropriate to the situation. My suggested more honorable version is, then Princess Pearl stepped forward crying, "Stop, stop, please! The world's already far too full of cuts and burns and skinned knees. Don't rescue me. I won't go back to being a princess because I know for me it's not the best. I want to be a doctor and travel here and there, listening to people's chests and giving them my care." That brings us to the end of the second video in this series. In the third, I'll talk about 11 books in which I identified themes that I believe are dishonorable. Thank you for watching.